Good morning. Excuse me. Today is the 20th of February 2025 and I'm going to go through my levels I'm watching today. But before we start, let's look to see what news could move the market later. Pretty much clear most of the day. We do have some Fed speakers, so be a bit wary at 12, 2:30. We've got oil news coming out at 12 as well. So if you're looking at oil, just be a bit wary of it. But that's it. We do have a Fed speaking actually just after market open. That's okay. So levels on watch for today. On my screen we're looking at the ES, which is the S&P 500 E-mini futures, and we're currently on the daily time frame. Let's just open up my pen. We can see all-time highs just above at 61.82 area, and I know SPY and SPX have broken out through those areas, but this is an area on watch for potential rejection in this overhead area of supply. The shaded area is a 15-minute supply area, and so that's the area I'll be focusing on if we do get up into that area. Volume-wise, you can see we kind of have reducing volume. Volume's kind of going. We're losing momentum basically as the price is pushing up. The candles are getting smaller and momentum's waning. So potentially we are either looking at a little bit of a reversal. Maybe we may see a bit of a reversal, or potentially we're just going to go lose our volume for a bit, break sideways. Maybe wait for the moving averages to catch up a bit, and then we do another move back up again. But we are currently in this chop zone. We have been since about November, and we're kind of sitting in that zone. We talked about this yesterday. Maybe this is one of the market phases. This is the accumulation and the buying. Now we've got the selling and the distribution before we maybe put another drop down like that, and that's just market zones. So this is stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 we've not got to yet. For that we need it to be put into a downtrend, which we've been in an uptrend for a long time now, and we are due a little bit of a pullback. We had one 2022, and then we put in this sideways where we had a lot of chop in that day, and that time we had a lot of chop up here as well, and we're kind of seeing something a little bit similar now. But you can see, look at the volume actually. We've got lots of volume here, and volume's just starting to wane a little bit at the end. So let's just drop down to the hourly and see what we've got. Good morning, Charles. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good day yesterday. Okay, so 1 hour time frame. So just go back to this zone here. This is a 15-minute, even though it's on the hourly, I've got it right down to the 15-minute area of overhead supply. So we can keep an eye on that, and the reason it works out quite well, even though it's 15-minute, we've got the tops of these pivots, tops of these areas, so we know we've had some big moves coming from that, and then we had this big move down. Look where the price is right now, it's exactly right back up that area. So let's just go back to where we are. The price is, we've been hovering around that area for some time now. We couldn't break out, then we finally broke it. Come back down, broke it again. Look how whippy. That's just not been a very good trading at all. But I've struggled quite a lot over the last few days trying to find a decent run. My risk to reward, I usually go for 3 and 5R, and when we're chopping around like that, it's really hard trying to get the follow through. I've been up 2.8R, 2.5R, 1R, 2R, and obviously maybe I could have taken profit, but I've come back for a full stop out. I'm going to work a little bit on that because I need to identify these chop zones earlier in the day rather than me take my 2 losing trades and then walk away. One thing to note, I don't know if you can see that here, are we looking at a head and shoulders pattern? We've got the left shoulder, we've got the head, we've got a little right shoulder, and we do have this trend line. Look at that beautiful trend line right down through the middle. Let's just draw it better. That trend line there is almost exactly spot on. So what I'm looking for today is a break and retest of pre-market low 61.40 into this area of demand. I'm just wondering whether maybe we've got another demand zone there now, but we've got a little bit of movement. You know, we're looking at this on the hourly, but you know, when you go down onto the 5 minute, there's still quite a lot of movement. I imagine there's a demand zone just there as well. We'll go to the 15 minute and have a look. So that's what I'm watching for, the break of this trend line, and I'm looking for the break and retest of pre-market low, and that will be breaking this market structure as well. I got excited a bit yesterday because when we broke out of this range we've been in for some time, I thought, hey, this is good, this is what we want. You know, potentially a break and retest to put in new all-time highs, but it didn't happen. Look where we are now. We kind of pulled right back in the post-market, which is a bit annoying. You know, I just don't like it going sideways. I want to see it either move down like that or up, not sideways, because sideways I find it really hard to trade. But maybe it's down to my strategy, so maybe I should come up with a better strategy. So this is what I'm watching today for the break and retest short. You know, we are putting in an hourly downtrend. If we break pre-market high, then we will break that downtrend. So I'll be looking for a break and retest off pre-market high at 61.55, targeting yesterday's high, and then into the new all-time highs up here if we get that. But like I said, I've struggled with my 5R and 3R targets recently, and even though these plays are working out, in fact a lot of the times we're breaking it by a massive amount and not coming anywhere near to get in. So maybe I should back test whether if we break pre-market high, whether that's highly probable to get 2 or 3R or not. Maybe I could scalp it instead of going for the 3 and 5R move. And that's it. Let's just go down to the 15 minute for a second, because we can probably refine this a bit. Let's get rid of that. What I'm looking for is a pullback and then a big reaction. And you can see we had a pullback here and this big reaction afterwards, so we can keep an eye on that. In fact, it's that red candle I want to. So we've got this area as a defined demand zone. In fact, let's put in, we've got this area here for a supply zone. So these are areas to watch out for today. I know it's quite a wide zone, but if we can come in, look, for example, here's a good example. So if I was watching this as an area or supply, I want to see it come in, come back in and retest it. So maybe that's the retest there, come back out, and then it retests that supply zone again before we started putting in. And then we could have waited for, if you have patience, wait for the actual pullback, get a little bit of a discount, 50% of that move there, and then watch it break down. So that's kind of an ideal scenario. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for it to come in, retest it, and then not quite get back up to that area, maybe there. And then I'm looking for 50% of that big candle coming out of it. And that's where I want to find my entry, in that area. Ultra conservative, you want to find it, break down that pivot, come back, and then retest. This is probably even more conservative. You know, there's a nice pattern there and a breakdown. But I like the higher, I like the rejection moves where I get better risk to reward. If you go back a year or two, I was getting like 10, 20 hour days in some trades, but my trading's changed a lot since then. I was basically looking for these small candles, for example, these moves here. Oh, that's a bit big. I was looking for the RBIs and GBIs, and these are great plays. You know, I use these as ads now, so I'm looking for the breakout target there. Obviously that wouldn't have got 5, 10, 20, I would have stopped me out, but here's another one here, an RBI. So basically it's a red bar ignored, stop there, entry there, and what's that, easy 3R. Maybe I might start looking for them again, because that seems to be more playable than supply and demand zones at 5R. And it also doesn't help when you get a bit impatient watching the market. Okay, so let's just recap the levels we're watching today on ES. So we got watching this area, yesterday's low area for potential bounce, 61.30, 61.35. Again, I'll be watching something like we've seen here, we come into it, come back out, retest it. So I want to see it come down into that zone, come back out, come back and retest it, and then either break that pivot to change the structure, and then come back down and then find my entry, the discount, 50% of that move around there. And I want to find an entry just there, or maybe if it taps that zone again for the big move. That's my ideal entry. And obviously keep an eye on pre-market low, pre-market high. We're smack bang in the middle now. I'd prefer to be closer to one of these when the market opens. And I think that's it really. Let's go back to the hourly. Because I like seeing the volume on the hourly. Just take a note of where the point of control is as well. We've got this massive amount of volume and we're holding this area here. So that's an area we said we watch for a bounce as well. So that could be a good area to watch for a bounce. SPY. What I do like is a bounce in this area, and the reason for that is we've got that pivot over here. We've got a little bit of volume as well. Got this volume shelf. We've got these two pivots. We broke it, come back and retested that pivot, broke it, retested it, and then I'm not sure, we're going to either come back down and retest it again. We are in this uptrend as well. You could say there's also a head and shoulders pattern, not as quite as defined as the ES. So trend continuation, if we break pre-market high at 612.16, break and retest long. Keep an eye on yesterday's high for potential rejections. At new all-time highs, I believe it is. Yeah, all-time highs 613. So I don't short all-time highs unless it's a double top or something like that. But there's nothing there. There's nothing to short. So trend continuation only. For bounce, for rejection, or for short plays, break and retest a pre-market low. And then look at this trend line. We've got this trend line coming up in that angle. So break and retest will be a change of market structure, and we've got our bounce area back down here again. SPX levels, new all-time highs in SPX. Look at that for a beautiful level. We held it, we had it marked from there, we touched it there, we touched it several times, and then we broke out, came back and retested it. When was that? That was yesterday, was it? Wednesday, yeah, yesterday. And then you should keep an eye on these, because look at that, it came back in, literally retested that level we've had drawn, and now we're pushing up. Where we're going to be opening, we're opening a little bit lower than yesterday, so we'll probably be opening around this area here. This is a level to watch. We can watch for a break and retest. This is also a RBI, what we just talked about a few minutes ago. Generally don't want to take these unless we've really caught up with the moving averages. So we are quite extended from the 50 moving average, but you know, that is an RBI entry. You can take a long. Not something for me. If I'm in a trade and looking for an add, that would be a better place to add. Levels the same as before really, but keep an eye on this 61, 22, 21 area for a potential bounce again. That'd be the break and retest with an air gap. And when I say an air gap, what I like to see is a big gap here. So when we break out, let's draw that again. So I want to see it break out, leave an air gap, come back down, these are the candles, and retest this area here before we see a big push back up. So that is a higher probability than one where we broke out and we came back on the same candle like this move here. Because you see what happened there? We just kind of went sideways and sold off. So seeing an air gap is what I always look for in my breakouts, whether it's a break and retest of pre-market high, pre-market low, or these levels we're watching. I want to see an actual move. So that's an hourly air gap, but obviously I enter on the 5 and I look at the 15 as well. NQ. Hasn't put in a new high, but we've got this level here to watch, around about there. And we've got this level here, something like that. So we're putting in this kind of pattern, and we're in the lower 50% of this region, and we're below the 50 moving average as well. So if we break pre-market low, I really want to see it break yesterday's low as well. Come back up and retest, look for a short, and then we've got a couple of areas of demand below. So keep an eye on this region here, yesterday's low, so we can probably, I'll keep the same zone for now, but we can probably fine tune it. Let's do it now. Based on this region here, it's pretty much the same as before. So keep an eye on that area for bounce. I'm not a big fan of it, to be fair. I prefer the bounce at yesterday's low, 22,118. Break and retest the pre-market low, break and retest off pre-market high. We're close to that right now. So I do quite like that. Look at that as a previous pivot as well. So if we break out over the 200, come back down and retest 22, 22, 2. There we go. Nice. Don't forget 22222 is our break and retest area. Pivot as well, and we're breaking out over the moving averages. And we've got a good target. We've got a big gap then to try and target as well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm just going to put a alert on to remind me if we do break pre-market high. QQQ, same. Break and retest the pre-market high. That pivot there, not quite as clear as the previous of the NQ. Break and retest long. Got a nice big target area. This is our overhead supply from yesterday, using a 15-minute candle. That candle there takes in these topping tails as well, and the topping tails of that. So we know we had buyers and we had big sellers up there. 539, basically 539 break and retest, the same level we've had marked up for a while. So keep an eye on that. Otherwise, rejection up in this 540.80 area, and then we've got our next bounce zone is this area down here, yesterday's low, 536. And look at that, we had that level defined from that area, came into it and bounced. Had I been clever a trader, I would have seen it come in, come back out, come back and retest that zone, and then push back out. And then surely on the 15, we are on the 15-minute. On the 5-minute, I could have found a probably even nicer entry. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so the nicer entry is this. So we touched it, didn't quite get into that area of liquidity. Then we took out all of that liquidity, came back out, came back in, all the way back out, and then I'll be looking for the entry here. Maybe that's 50% of this move. It's roughly that area there. So you could have taken a small entry there and then added just on that point. Enter here, add here, and then big move up. Easier said than done though, you know, on the heat in the moment, especially when I'm staring at other charts as well, it's not that easy. I'm a hindsight trader, I'm a bloody good hindsight trader, just not the greatest right in front of you trader. Oil, it's coming up into that area. Let's go back to the hourly again. Right, that's better. Oh, look at this. So this is what I like to see as well. We've cleared these pivots, came back and retested those pivots. And is that an inverse head and shoulders pattern? No, it's not far off one. And broke, and that's the retest there as well. So oil, I find, moves after hours better than you see the patterns after hours than you do during normal hours sometimes. So if we can clear this zone, break and retest a pre-market high. I'm not sure that trend line is an old trend line. We'll clear that up soon. We've got an area of overhead supply at 73, so that could be our target if we're long. Otherwise, if we're looking for a bounce, I do quite like the bounce in this yesterday's low, pre-market low area. Notice also how this 200 moving average is starting to curve around a bit now as well. This is a purple line. And obviously our 50 moving average is showing us that we're just going sideways. Again, we talked about market phases. You know, this downtrend, sideways, uptrend. And you can even go down into the time zone and see the exact same thing here. Downtrend, sideways, uptrend, downtrend. You know, you can break it down even smaller. In fact, this is a downtrend, sideways, kind of what we just looked at, and then the breakout of that area, break, retest, go. So there's plenty of opportunity, just knowing when and how to play it. gold was ripping when we last saw. Oh, look at that. Okay, so now we're getting into the discount area again. So gold has been on fire for the last few months. Putting in a new all-time high. When was that? Was that yesterday? New all-time high yesterday or early mornings, and then we just sold off. So a good entry would be a bounce of yesterday's low. Got the 50 moving average. We have a little bit of volume there as well too in that region. So keep an eye on this 29.30 for a bounce. If we lose that area, then this, you can probably keep an eye. We've got this area of demand down here. See all these bottom tail candles where we're just building, and then we had that big move. So keep an eye on this 29.21 area as well for a bounce. Again, I don't reject all-time highs because there's no previous levels apart from that one level. We don't know what's up there. So trend continuation, if we break out, we can look for the break and retest. RTY, it's not doing much. I'm not a very big fan of this chart right now, so I won't even consider it until we can break out over this region here. Break and retest of that area. You know, you don't want to be playing this chop in here. And then if we do get up into this region, we've got this area here to watch for a potential rejection. But you can see all the volume, it's all been traded in this area we are right now. So nothing there for me. YM, pretty similar, but at least we have a trend line. This trend line here. Oh, hang on, that's not the right one. Draw that trend line there. So at least we have a pattern. This is exactly what I want to see. So it gives us a bit of direction. Keep an eye on a break and retest of pre-market high, yesterday's high long. Otherwise, keep an eye on, you could say pre-market low. If you go down to the 5 minute, that's quite a big move down to that area there. Otherwise, watch for yesterday's low, break and retest short. You know, we are in an uptrend, and then we're putting in this wedge pattern. So if we're following the trend, then maybe we should see it break out for another move up. If the market's going to crash around us, then we're just going to see it crash back down as well. So that's an interesting one. Keep an eye on this one. And then Bitcoin. Oh, my doors. Right, I might have to go and get that in a second. Bitcoin. We need to break out over this pivot here. 99. We've got 100,000 is a psychological number. So there's not much really. Inverse head and shoulders pattern here as well. So break and retest. Let's look for a long at yesterday's high, or break and retest over pre-market high. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's flick back to the order flow and see whether there's anything interesting going on there. And in fact, there's another level we can watch on Bitcoin. I'll go back to that. Order flow. We're seeing more aggressive buying coming in right now. We're not seeing the buying in the price. So you can see a bit of a divergence there. So potentially, once all the sellers have been exhausted, we may be watching for a potential push out. If the sellers fight and win against the buyers, then we may see it come back down again. You can see, that's too much drawing. You can see we're having a big aggressive selling right now, and the candles are following it as well. It is pre-market. Market opens in 5 minutes, so let's have a look. Is that near any levels we're watching? Let's flip back to my ES chart. So I like to watch divergences like that if we're looking at a rejection area. And look, we're smack bang in in the middle. So for me, there's nothing really. If we're coming into that area and I'm looking for a bounce, then I would be more interested in watching for this. I want to see that go more green. So for example, if we're going to look for a bounce at pre-market low, then I'll be looking for this to be pushing up, lots of aggressive buying coming in, and then the price then also doing the same. But we are selling off right now. For me right now, there's nothing until we break out of the pre-market range, and that's that range there, 61, what's that, 61.40, or we've got 61.55. So this is the area to watch. We're smack bang in the middle right now. So no trades until we get a decent A+ trade, and then if we move down into this region here, I'll be looking for a bounce. If we're moving into this region up here, I'll be looking for a rejection, and then that's it. And obviously I'm watching for the break and retest of pre-market high 61.55. I want it to break, retest into that area, and pre-market low. I think this is set up to hopefully give us a bit of movement if we do. The last thing we want to see today is for it just to do that and just do nothing, because that makes it really difficult to trade. And like I said, we have got this pattern. We've got left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then if we break the pre-market low, we would have broken that trend line, and we would be satisfying the break and retest of the head and shoulders pattern. One of my favourite patterns I always look for, and you see it on all time frames from monthly all the way down to minutes. That's it. Okay, thank you for watching. If you liked this, don't forget to hit the like button. I'll be on the other stream, the pre-market, which call it the order flow stream. It looks a bit like this. It's the other link, which I'll just link in the comments now. So I'll be on this link today. I won't be staring at it, but if you have any comments or suggestions, then leave me a message in there. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Trade safe, keep your risk tight, and see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.